All right, so we're on to day 3. So yesterday I worked on start line control. I put a stick between my ball and the target, made sure I start the ball left of the stick for fades, right of the stick for draws. And today I'm going to repeat the same thing, but I'm going to focus on curvature. Number one, I got to hit my start line. Start line is 80% made up from this club face. The other 20% is by our path, whether it's pushing or pulling it. So yesterday I did a pretty good job, but I hit a lot of double crosses where I would start left and then draw rather than fading, which is what I wanted. Very few did I block off to the right and then also fade, but my orientation wasn't always right. So I'm going to focus on still hitting the correct side of the stick and making sure the ball curves the correct direction. I'm not double crossing. Ball flight laws. You have 3 things that are going to make up your curvature. Number 1, you have your club face where that's aimed. Number 2, you have your path relative to your face. And number 3, which isn't a big deal for irons, but it is for woods and driver, is gear effect. Are we hitting the ball on the toe or the heel? Short version is toe shots tend to hook, heel shots tend to fade more. So I got to make sure that I'm A, getting my ball to hit my start line, which is mostly made up from the club face. B, make sure my path is in the correct orientation of my club face so it curves the way I want. And if I was hitting a wood or a driver, make sure when I'm hitting a fade, I'm not hitting it off the toe because that makes the ball want to hook. Or if I'm hitting a draw, make sure I don't hit it too far off the heel because that's going to prevent it from wanting to draw. So basically focusing on the same thing, but just make sure the ball's curving the way I want and I'll get better. All right guys, so I got my drill set back up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on 2 things. When I'm hitting fades, I'm going to focus on trying to get my body to rotate more open and exit more low left underneath my hip. That way my path can get left, and that way it's easier to hold the face off through the shot. And when I hit a draw, I'm going to focus on sequence. I'm going to focus from the top of my swing, being very patient, feeling like my hands and arms have a chance to get back in front of me, versus if I spin out ahead of my hands and arms, very easy for that face to get stuck open and the ball never draws back. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'll hit a couple low shots here for you guys to kind of see, and then from there I'm going to get to work. All right, it's another pretty good day today, long day. Worked mostly on short game. Went to the driving range, I hit 4 buckets, and of those 4 buckets, 3 of them were pitch shots to buckets and baskets. And then from there, I hit a lot of wedges inside 70 yards. And then I did the drill you guys saw, which is where I had the stick in between my ball and the target. I worked fades, I worked draws. Did better today than yesterday. Just definitely made sure on those cuts I was rotating and holding off to make sure that ball was cutting back. Now, I had some pretty aggressive big cuts to make sure I had room to cut it and I could really commit to the shot, but my percentage was way higher today than it was yesterday, so that was good. And then another really cool insight I had today was when I was hitting pitch shots on the range, because I find off a mat, it's just harder to get the texture right of how the club is coming off the mat, being more bouncy and also having a thicker layer of turf underneath it versus hitting off grass. So I actually feel like it makes my technique better because I have to attack it perfectly off a mat. Off grass, I have to make sure I hit ball first, but I feel like it just gets into the ground better and it makes it easier for me to control my club face. Couldn't tell you exactly why. I just know that if I'm hitting it good off a mat, I'm hitting it really good off grass, and if I'm hitting high flares off to the right on a mat, I'm normally not super tight with my short game when I get on grass. And what I really picked up on, and again, took me a long time to kind of remember it because it's been so long since I hit that many shots on a range, was I was getting really too short in my backswing and I was getting too fast coming down. Think of it this way. If you have a 50-yard shot and you're going to use your lob wedge. Let's just say the club's already determined, because distance is really controlled by the loft of your club, the length of your swing, the speed of your swing, and then the contact on the face. So obviously we're trying to make the same contact in the middle, ideally. We're pre-choosing our loft. Now we might lean it forward or back, but we're kind of choosing that before we swing, which means really all we're trying to do from there is control what is the length of our swing and what is the speed of our swing coming through. So if I'm going to hit a 50-yard shot and my backswing gets short, I have to accelerate very quickly to try and create the distance I want to hit it. Because if I don't have the length, from there the only way I can create the speed is through acceleration. Versus if I have a longer swing, I can accelerate much more gradually. And that's a big difference, because number one, you get way more tense with your hands, but on top of that, watch what happens. If I have a short swing, when I change direction very quickly, I'm going to create more lag and more angle. And if you watch the club face, when I change direction like that, the face gets more open. Now I'm exaggerating, but it gets more open. I have to chase it with my hands. It changes the amount of bounce that's going to be on the club as that face is tweaking open. It creates a lot of yipping sensation when I get too short and I get too fast. So I had a good feeling of make sure I take it back plenty long. That way I could be much more gradual with my acceleration. I don't have to try and create any speed immediately. And it made it way easier for me to close down my club face, way easier to square it up. It felt natural to square it up. It didn't feel like I was trying to manipulate it at all. And also because I could fully release the club. My club wasn't short in this direction where I had a short swing radius and that club was further from the ground. I could fully release it down in the ground as well. And then it felt like it was just easier to have good interaction with the ground, way easier to square up the club face. It was just a good feel, and it's kind of a obvious feel when you're practicing a lot, but again, when you're not practicing a lot, really easy to think that your technique's messed up, really easy to think your wedge isn't fitting you. Maybe you think you had a bad lie, but in reality, you just got short and fast, face was out of whack, bounce was out of whack, release had to try and make up for the difference, and that feeling of trying to square it up last second and release it last second, to me is the feeling of getting flinchy, because it's all instantaneously and all with the hands, versus when your club already has the time to square up, it feels way less flinchy. So yeah, it was a really cool thing to kind of get an insight on that. So that was kind of the highlight of the day. Goals for tomorrow, again, want to keep tackling short game, want to keep tackling putting. I hit 300 putts today. No, sorry, I hit 200 putts today, which was good, but I want to put in a full 2 hours tomorrow where I get 400 putts, get the full gamut on that. Because I really feel like that's where I'm able to see the most strides right now. So if I can keep doing that and keep sticking with it, I think I'll see the most progress. So again, pretty happy with it, but short game, putting. Hopefully found a couple of swings, full swing feels. But if I get those things right, I think I'm going to start seeing some better scores pretty quickly here. So thanks you guys. Till tomorrow.